Before we begin, let's get one thing out of the way. The majority of people absolutely hated Sony's first episode of State of Play, mainly because it was more focused around upcoming VR games. Now it is easy just to say, well, they don't own a VR headset, so they don't understand how good this is. But let's put ourselves in their shoes. If we didn't have a PSVR, we would be annoyed too, as we just sat through quite a few minutes of advertising, which we can't get hyped about unless we spend quite a bit of money to get involved. I really think Sony went about it the wrong way. They should have mixed the announcements up a bit. Having a couple of non-VR games and then a VR game would have made it a bit more acceptable for all gamers. Now they did mix them up, but they really should have included more non-VR games. The problem now is that we may end up seeing two separate videos appear, one showcasing VR games and the other one for standard games, as Sony certainly won't want that dislike ratio to become a trend. If two videos do start appearing, then less people will click for VR1 and won't be updated on the amazing new titles that are coming out for it. Anyway, enough of my thoughts on the format of the State of Play videos. You guys are mainly here for my reactions to the actual games themselves. So, let's begin! I'm trying to be positive about this one, I really am, but most of the licensed superhero VR games that have released in the past have let me down. The trailer for Iron Man was very exciting though, especially when the suit blasts out of the case. It did make my heart drop a little. It was very cinematic. But the most important thing to take notice of in these trailers is of course the actual gameplay. One of the first things I noticed was that it's going for a more light-hearted approach, which is similar to most of the Marvel films. The game's HUD is brightly coloured, and so are the explosions. It does appear that they're targeting this game towards a younger audience. One of the main things that I'm sure most are wondering is whether or not we can actually fly around freely. The radar at the top left of the screen that shows enemies' locations certainly gives the impression that you may need it for navigational guidance. But of course, this could just be for show, and deep down, I have a feeling it is. We do only get a small glimpse at this level, but the fact that you're following a plane makes me think that this is an on-rail shooter. I really hope I'm wrong. My hype rating? 6 out of 10. Five Nights at Freddys Help Wanted looks absolutely terrifying, and as you all know by now, I do love some VR horror. The main thing I took away from this trailer was how creepy the animatronics designs are. I think when the game releases, it will certainly include some of the most scariest things that you can come face to face with on the PSVR, especially as the models are very highly detailed. Considering the game is going to have some of the original game's levels, I may have to actually finally play them, as I think there is a bit of entertainment from visiting the same location again in VR. I am slightly worried about the game's length though, if the other games in the series are anything to go by, which is why it puts my hype rating at 7 out of 10. When this trailer first came on screen, I was like, no, this isn't No Man's Sky. It's just a similar art style. But then the music came, and I knew for certain that the one thing I never thought would be possible on the PSVR was going to become a reality. Now I haven't actually put that many hours into No Man's Sky. I did play it when it first released, and was quite disappointed with its lack of features, and then I never returned. The game has had numerous free updates since then, and so many people say you've got to jump back in now, as it's so much more like what Sean had promised in the first place. So the fact that I can now experience this essentially new game in VR has got me incredibly hyped, and I can't believe the VR mode is going to be a free update just like the rest of them. You shouldn't lie in the first place, but Sean has certainly started to redeem himself over the years. My hype rating? 8.9 out of 10. Now before we take a look at my most hyped game from this showcase, let's take a quick look at the other games which only got a snippet of gameplay shown. I'm not going to be including my hype rating in these, as some didn't show enough footage for me to make an informed decision. Without doing some more research on Mini Mech Mayhem, I'm really not sure what to expect from this. It looks high quality for what it is, but I do need to know more. I remember covering Jupiter and Mars in a news episode ages and ages ago, and to be honest, I had forgotten all about it. Obviously the art style sticks out the most in this title. I just hope the game has PS4 Pro support on release, so that we can truly appreciate all of them particle effects. Table of Tales is another one that I'm not too sure what to really expect from it, but like Mini Mech Mayhem, the layout of the board and interaction mechanics does appear to be solid overall. Falcon Age looks quite interesting, and I eagerly await to hear more about how the interaction with the bird works. Like I recently said in my Astrobot Top 10 Moments video, AI interaction has been quite simple in PSVR games these last couple of years, so let's hope this game brings something new. Let's just get it out of the way. I don't watch Rick and Morty, but I did really enjoy Accounting Plus, and the fact that Trover Saves the Universe is made by the same developers makes me very excited. Over the years we have had more and more 3D animated cartoon characters act more mature, and I can't wait to see what rude jokes this game has to offer. I even love the fact that it's a third person game, as some of my fondest childhood gaming memories are from platforming games. I'm actually quite excited about Everybody's Golf. How have we not had a really amazing golfing game where you actually have to swing your golf club yet? If winning in multiplayer rewards you with coins that you can spend on clothing for your character, I may just get a little addicted to virtually teeing off. Vacation Simulator has come a long way since we saw its first footage. I mean, just look at all these new minigames that you can take part in. The variety here is certainly amazing, and just like Job Simulator, I highly expect this to be one of the first titles to recommend to new VR owners. Even as a long-time headset owner, I can't wait to check this one out. And finally, this is the game that I'm most hyped about from the State of Play video. It was already right at the top of my radar, but this trailer elevated it even higher. And that's what I love about watching these video events, trailers that exceed my expectations. Blood and Truth actually looks like one of the early Bond games to me, because of the mixture of gameplay elements. It has so many different action moments, and one part in particular looks like it's a rip straight out of Uncharted 3. Do I mind? Not at all. It was one of my favourite parts from that game, and now I'm going to be able to actually experience it. A lot of people are annoyed that this is an on-rails game, but I honestly think it's for the best, as this setup will allow the developers to make sure you're right in the middle of the action, and become the main star of a Hollywood action film. Filmmaking and gaming are obviously massive hobbies of mine, and this game is going to let me virtually experience both. My hype rating? 9 out of 10. So what game are you most hyped for? Beat thinks most people are going to be split between No Man's Sky and Blood and Truth, but let us know what you actually think in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more PSVR content.